Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is day 3 of the 7 days of rest and sacred healing. And day 3 is the yellow chakra. And this is the chakra of self esteem, willpower, and personal responsibility, working for the common good. And we have an amazing guest with us today. And of course, Tami and the Million Vegan Grandmothers and Zambe Congo. Thank you so much for joining us. I've known you as Melvin, and
It's
and
okay. Either one will work.
okay, thank you. Yeah, I mean, you are to me an epitome of personal responsibility and working for the common good, and the willpower and self-esteem. So the third chakra is perfect for us to host you as the guest. You know,
Thank you.
uh, Yeah, I know you're going through some issues with COVID right now, and Tami is going to be working with you on healing um, the issues that happen, when we go through an infection like COVID. So, thank you for being here, Melvin.
Well,
Tell us a
thank
bit about
you.
yourself, and
Well, I'm a
yeah.
native Arizonian, and I'm a father and a grandfather. I have seven. I have two awesome daughters and seven grandchildren. Uh, we had a newborn just about 45 days ago, and I'm a climate healer, and also uh, I'm really committed to trying to create a culture of peace with all life. Uh, I believe in whole health, whole systems health and healing. That is, um, I guess, one of the pieces of knowledge, of wisdom that really give me any type of I don't want to say hope, but that things can that there's a way forward.
Mm.
It's whole systems health and healing. That we do have a pathway forward. Is whole through whole systems health and healing. And I was introduced to that. I learned about it from Shelley Ostoff, but Sailesh is introduced me to Shelley, and her works has influenced me spiritually, and also my knowledge set and orientation toward how we can heal ourselves and the earth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm amazed at all the connections you have, in Arizona, and how um, everyone looks up to you. And the community basically, uh, is healing through your example, the example that you're setting for others. So, how did you, when did you go vegan? And
Oh,
yeah.
well, thank you, Silas. That's a good question. I guess could have been 10 years ago or more.
Mm.
I um, was being treated by this doctor for high blood pressure. And one day I went into his office and he told me that. He said in 2 months or 3 months, my kidney function had declined so much that I was going to be dead on dialysis in 6 months, or maybe it was shorter than that. And that frightened me so much that I left his office and went to the naturopathic school of naturopathic medicine here in Tempe. And that's what started me on the journey to eating better, not being vegan.
Mm.
And but I did change much how I was eating. And I met Silesh. I can't believe it's been 7 years ago or 10 years ago at an event. And a friend of mine introduced me to Silesh because I was saying, I asked my friend, how did he get all that information on a little chip? You know, you can have a whole the Congress of the library. All
Right.
that. How do you get all that information on the chip? He said, I don't know, but I got a friend that can explain it. And he introduced me to Silesh. And Silesh explained that to me. I still don't know how you get all that information on that little bitty chip. It's just amazing that you can get all that information on that little chip. So, and also he had, I said, you know, we were talking about the injustices in the world and around the world, and you know, the different initiatives, networks to try to make the world a better place. I said, but Silas, how can you beat these bastards? I said, they got the army, the CIA, they own intelligentsia, they got the corporation. I said, I mean, how can you beat them? And at that time, he showed me of a couple who were in India. They bought some land, and the land that they bought, they fenced it off so humans couldn't get in there. And in a short period of 2 years, this side of the land regenerated itself, reforested itself, and brought all the natural life back together. And the other side just looked sad, you know, it looked really decimated from, you know, humans trampling over it and killing up the animals. It just looked sad. when he showed me that and mentioned the power of veganism, I said, that's it. That's how you fight these bastards, going vegan. And that is the most significant and consequential thing that anybody can do if you want to bring about whole system health and healing. Is going to a whole food plant-based diet, because that is just so the concomitant effects of going to a whole food plant-based diet changing is really the first step to bring about whole system health and healing, because it catapults you into a higher awareness of the injustices and the systemic causes of these injustices that exist in the world when you make this transition to eating healthy, or just other awareness and pathways come about where we can see the intersectionality of all the injustices, and you see this one specific cause that's causing it all. So that's what got me started. And since then, I'm still refining this journey of how I eat. I'm getting much, much better. I don't think I've made any, I definitely haven't made any steps back up. I haven't gone back to processed meat and eating processed food and eating animal meat and dairy. I can't even stand the smell of it, the look of it. So, but I am still refining that process of the food that really work for my body.
Right.
And that's where I'm at right now. And so, and I really thank Silesh for showing me how to fight these bastards. I mean, because you look at the power of a state, you look at the power of the media, you look at the power of Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and these people. But if you go vegan, you don't need a centralized leadership. You know, you don't need an organization. You just go vegan and you take them down that way. Yeah, that's what I'm excited about. Just to be able to fight, have a way to fight. So veganism, a whole food plant-based diet, has been an inspiration for me and giving me a tool to fight. As I said, it is the most significant and consequential thing that we can do to bring about systemic changes in whole system health and healing. As we know, there's a lot of work to be done, but that's the precondition.
Absolutely. It's about healing ourselves first. And
healing ourselves. And that's what a plant-based diet does. It helps you heal yourself. And then it creates this great awareness of this intersectionality of racism, white supremacy, income inequality, mass incarceration, the killing of all the animals. It just makes that concomitant effects when you go vegan. All of that stuff come into your awareness, and you say, "Man, we got to do something about this. I want to do something about it."
Right. So, thank you, Tami, for today. What have you prepared for us?
I see that we have a green smoothie over there. What we prepared today, I'm so excited. Well, the one thing, we hear a lot about juicing and the power of juicing, and a lot of people don't have juicers. It's a lot of produce. So what we're doing, and juicing's amazing. Juicing's amazing. But one of the things that we've been doing every day is showing how to make infused water. So we use way less produce. We got the energy of that vegetable or fruit in there. And today we're working on the color yellow. So look at the beautiful life force in this lemon I just cut. Still see the droplets that were once rain, maybe once were ocean or aquifer. And we're going to make lemonade. And then we're going to go on to make different types of lemonade. And then we're going to take this spaghetti squash and turn it into a creamy sauce with a whole bunch of raw vegetables on top so we can have some living force. So today in meditation, when I was meditating on the color yellow, there was a poem that came to me of Rumi. And this poem reminds me not only of yellow, but of the energy of us here and never giving up. And it's called the Silk. So I invite you to close your eyes and just be present. I stood before a silk one day, and that night my heart said to me, can I do things like that? Can I spin warm skies like yellow? Can I be woven into love that can bring warmth to people? I can be soft against a crying face. I can be wings that lift. And I can travel with my 1,000 feet throughout the earth. My sacks filled with the sacred. And I replied to my heart, dear, can you really do all things? And it just nodded yes. So we began, and we will never cease. So here we are, never ceasing. Okay, so we're going to make a lemonade. You can use a small of amount of lemon as a quarter to get a really zesty 1 quart jar of lemonade. If you leave some of the peel on, and you can only leave the peel on if it's organic. Otherwise, a lot of the food has been sprayed pretty badly. But I'm going to use half a lemon right now with some of the peel. And that is how you buy produce. Some of the organic produce is a little bit more expensive. And if you leave the peel on, the zest, and if you are peeling it, please leave some of the white on. That's where most of our phytonutrients are. So I'm taking half a lemon, putting it in my blender. And I'm going to take a liter of structured water. We've been talking a little bit about structuring water through sound energy and life and love. And that's it. I'm going to make a lemonade just like this. I'm going to blend this. I had the gift of studying with Dr. Zach Bush, and I bought something he calls a bioimpedance analyzer, and it tests the hydration levels in human bodies. And the majority of us are quite dehydrated. So starting out with a liter of infused water in the morning will really help that. We usually lose at least a liter of water, and every disease can be tracked to a dehydration. So it's not necessarily water in and hydration. It needs to have the mineral density of, and that is why we're infusing some of our water, so that when there's enough minerals, that water can just go right across that cell membrane. So I have a beautiful liter of lemon water here. And just the scent of lemon, or keeping a little piece of your peel and using that for the essence to awaken the body throughout the day, try it. It's where the essential oil is. Now we're going to do a little bit of another version of this lemonade. I am going to put a little bit of ginger in there. We're going to have a ginger lemon made, and maybe possibly put that in the blender. I'm going to put it back in. So these are all the varieties of lemonade. Just a tiny bit of ginger. Anything you buy organic is much more powerful. So you need to use way less. And I'm just going to put a sprig of mint in there. So we're doing a mint. We're doing a mint ginger lemonade. You can use whatever you like. I'm just giving examples of what we can do. And I'm just going to use a few pieces of celery. Celery has a lot of natural sodium. So I'm going to plop in a few pieces of celery. My grandchildren like their lemonade. I like the tartness of it. And it's really good to have that tartness in the morning. It flushes out the liver. But I'm going to put in, I soaked some dates, so they're much easier to work with. And I'm just going to put 1 or 2 soaked dates in here, just for sweetener. This is going to be our natural whole food sweetener, and maybe a little bit of the date water. Okay. We're just going to blend this up into a lemonade. So now we turned it just from lemon to a mint, ginger, date lemon water. So here we go. You can blend it a little bit longer if you like, and you can reblend it. So sometimes I take this pulp that is already in my strainer, and when I want to drink later, I'll just blend it again because it'll still have that infused flavor. I see a bit of date hunks in the bottom of my blender. So here we go. You know, everywhere I go, I see packaging. Oh, infused waters, mineral waters, lemon waters. Costco now has these glass bottle lavender water and spirulina water. I have a big bag of spirulina chlorella here. I can make my own infused water without all the packaging, right? Let's just really cut back on packaging. I'm going to give this a little taste here before I turn this into a spirulina water. We really need to cut back on packaging, and this is a really easy way to do it, and very, very quickly. And I love storing in glass jars, so you can make a whole bunch of hydrating waters. And sometimes we just get a little bored with just drinking water, maybe. And I think that's why people gravitate towards other type of waters. Let's just make our own and store them in the fridge. They're easily going to last for 4 or 5 days. That really hits me somewhere deep. Spirulina is a complete protein with basically no carbon imprint. So we're going to turn it into a little bit of green water. I'm just going to put a little bit. This is a local company of my girlfriend's. And spirulina, because it draws a lot of toxins and heavy metals out of the body, it does the same in the environment where it's cultured. So we want to make sure that we get a really nice clean source of spirulina. If it's near contamination areas, then. So here we go. There are not too many colors that are the blue color of spirulina. So it's an incredible chakra food. We just give it another little tinge. So we got our nice lemon, spirulina, with a touch of ginger. There we go. I'm gonna drink that up. So that'll be the first thing I have in the daytime, a couple hours of just a liter of infused water. We've been making infused water every morning. And then I'll wait. The body's in its greatest detoxification state for the first 2 or 3 hours. So give it a little bit of a break before we start putting solid food in. Even give ourselves a break periodically. One of the biggest genetic upgrades for us, and epigenetic upgrades, and a lot of research done on it, is calorie restriction and fasting. Because whenever we give the body a chance, we're going to talk about that a little bit more in Green Day tomorrow, but whenever we give the body a chance to detoxify, and it doesn't have to break down food, so we're either breaking down food or we're actually cleansing the body. So when we need an upgrade on cleansing, it's a really, really good idea to take the opportunity to take a break from food as much as we can. And then the food we do put on, it's really mineral rich and hydrating, and love food. You know, food that loves us back. Only eat food that loves you back. Okay, now we're going to make it really quick. So I just used the pulp that I already had for our next cheese that we're going to make. So I soaked some cashews overnight, but cashews only need to be soaked for about 4 hours. And I rinsed them. 1 cup of cashews and about 3/4 of a cup of hemp hearts. You can do less if you like. And I'm taking a whole lemon. So we're making a cashew hemp heart cheese. And I'm going to leave some of the peel on in this lemon. It's going to give it a nice, zesty, cheesy flavor. Cut up this lemon. So we want the juice of the lemon to help us mix all of the nuts and seeds. So I'm going to put the lemon. I'm going to put about 1/3 of a cup of water in here. I'm going to put a couple tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Gives it that nice cheesy flavor. Nutritional yeast is loaded with B vitamins. And if we like it a little bit zestier, you can use a little bit of miso. This is a barley miso, but you can get a chickpea miso. If you're okay with soy, you can get a soy miso. It's a nice zesty flavor. And I'm just going to slowly blend this up and mix it up. And if I need to add a bit more water, I can add either the lemon water to give it a little bit more zesty flavor, or I can just add regular water. So just blend it nice and slow if you have a high food processor blender. If you don't, just have to stop quite often and just stir it down. I can tell already I'm going to need a bit more water. Once the lemon starts breaking up, it's going to give it a lot of liquid. If you want your cheese to be nice and creamy, it's great to give it a little bit more time in the blender. If you put this in the fridge, it's going to thicken a bit. But you can keep this as a raw dish. Everything in here is raw. And so what I would suggest is that you get your squash nice and hot because it's already cooked. So here it's still in its little shell. That's one way you can serve it actually, is you can serve it on a plate and people can dish it out and it's in its shell. So you'd get your squash nice and heated. You can pre-cook it, but then heat it up really nicely. Add a little bit of water to your pan when you're heating because things shouldn't be browned. It creates something called acrylamines that the body has a really hard time breaking down. And then you can take your sauce after it's really nice and warm and dabble it on the top. As creamy as you would like it. That look beautiful. So your squash is nice and hot. You can leave your sauce raw. This is a great dipping cheese sauce too. And the hemp hearts have all your omega oils and you have a really nice concentration of all your macronutrients, your carbohydrates, your fats, and your proteins, right? Where do you get your protein from? We know. So here we are. I'm not going to add any avocados to here because we have lots of nice fat already from but I'm going to dress it up. So before I serve this, I put a little bit of fresh herbs. I have some cilantro here and some basil. And maybe some nice colorful tomato. That look beautiful. And a lot of people wouldn't think to add to their hot dish something like cucumber or celery, but it gives it that crunchy contrast. Isn't that gorgeous? And while I have this out, I'm going to take a little yellow pepper. We're on our yellow day. And I'm going to add a little bit of avocado to it. How I kept this avocado from browning is I just took my lemon squeezer. I'm going to put a little lime in here because I'm almost out of lemon. Squeeze on top. You could do that on your final bit of your squash serving too. And then a nice sprig of mint. Now this just isn't the garnish. I used to always eat the garnish first on every plate. The mint will help you digest your food. Herbs are life. Yeah. So I'm going to take my it's got a little baby pepper in there. So I'm just going to keep that right in there. Or maybe I'll use that for the top. It almost looks like a heart shape. And I'm going to put some tomatoes in here. Make a little dish. It would be a nice serving for yourself. You don't have to have company to make food look beautiful. You are your company. The 7 days of rest and sacred renewal with Dr. Shelley Ostroff and Yan and all the beautiful offerings we have. It's about us. It's about rejuvenating ourselves in the first 7 days of January so that we can be of service, And sometimes that's more difficult for people. A little bit of cucumber on there. A little bit of herb. I'm going to top that up with my little baby pepper. Isn't that gorgeous? Whoops, my little baby pepper flew right off there. There we go. Yeah, maybe a couple more tomatoes. And then why don't we put a little daub of our hemp cashew cheese on there? And remember, you don't have to use any nuts or seeds in particular. You can use anything. You can make this with sunflower hemp. Those are both local products for me. If you live somewhere where you have a lot of almonds, you can make them, but please buy your almonds organic. You can make them with almonds. Isn't that a beautiful little serving to give yourself that day? And the flavors and the freshness that pops out from the lime or the lemon. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking care of yourself. Thank you for making your food beautiful, not just for company, but for yourself. Yeah.
That was so quick and so amazing.
Yummy, yummy looking too.
Yeah. You give me so many ideas, Tami.
Great.
Will we get those recipes?
Yeah, she has posted it. I'll email it to you, Melvin.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we're also have a supported Facebook group called Rainbow Food, Rainbow People. So you can also find the PDF on there too. So okay. Shelley's also posted the PDF. And
I do a rainbow salad. Every day. I have a question about water. I go to the mountains and get my water. It's fresh. It's really water that comes right from Mother Earth, from the mountains. It come all the way. I don't know if you're familiar with Arizona, Sedona. Yeah, I go to Sedona, this place, and get my water. And this lady, I was up there once, she explained to me that this water come all the way from the San Francisco Peak, travel down to the earth here. So it's really pure drinking water. I get it and I put it in these here big 5-gallon water containers. My question is, does the water lose any of its power because it's sitting in those containers for a couple months or 3 months?
I like to store in glass myself as much as you can.
Yeah.
So if you can store in glass as much as you can, that's a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
All your food, because you can get a lot of jars in the fridge, stored. And I couldn't really answer that question on a certain level. I do know, though, that we write blessings on our water and we bless it. And I've been playing my water 5 to 8 hertz music for about an hour after I pour it into my glass jug. I also have a little structure machine that it's just a funnel that structures the water. But because I'm not going to advertise anybody's business here right now, the one last thing I wanted to share is that yesterday we talked about sprouting our mung beans, always having a jar of fresh sprouts on the go, so that we soak these mung beans overnight. And then we rinse them twice a day and we leave them at a 45-degree angle so they can drain. And mine are already starting to sprout. I got little sprouts on my mung beans already. So I'm hoping that all of you started your jar of sprouts yesterday. You can see the little tails on these already. I'm going to get one up close for you. And how quickly mung beans sprout. So I'm here in Canada, and I can actually have fresh food all the time. I think I'm going to sprinkle a few on my pepper. Gorgeous. And Melvin, I wanted to tell you we're having a celebration on the Rainbow Day, the 7th day. And so we're on day 3 today. On the 7th day, we're having a rainbow celebration. And I'm wondering if you'd like to come and show us your rainbow salad. We can have a little rainbow celebration.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Tami, there's a question on Facebook. Where do I find the PDF on the Facebook page? It doesn't appear in the file section. It's in the group, right? It's in the
group, Rainbow Food, Rainbow People. It's also in the group 7 Days of Rest. So it's in my profile under 7 Days of Rest .org. And so if we can give them that. And Melvin, I think you had said that Shelley had put on the PDF of my book Earth Gut, and that's what you were reading. And it also appeared in there that it said that my book Sacred Sovereignty was on there with my Heal Protocol, that I didn't see that book in there. There was a food book that has all kinds of other recipes. But there will not be a shortage of recipes on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I also found Mary McDougall has so many recipes on the drmcdougall.com website.
The one thing I'm super passionate about is getting in the kitchen, making our food for the day, and getting on with our lives. And then maybe we would just warm up that little bit of squash in dinner time. I wouldn't dress it like this till dinner time, but the squash would be cooked. I would have the stuff cut up that I made my infused water, and maybe a small smoothie for the afternoon. That could just consist literally of one starchy fruit and then a bunch of vegetables. We shouldn't mix a bunch of different starches together. It's not good food combining, but all the green leafy vegetables go well with a fruit or a certain type of fruit. Food combining is really, really important, and you'll see that in there. There's a free PDF that's been put on, and maybe I'll add that PDF to our Rainbow Food, Rainbow People, but it's on 7daysofrest.org, and there is a food combining chart in there. It's quite important because sometimes we don't digest certain starches if they're all put together. Sugars, certain sugars.
Any comments, Melvin? Zambe, sorry.
Well, even, I'm just, once again, I was very, I don't want to use the word impressed, but excited about when I was looking at day 2 and I was introduced to Tami and the work that she's doing. I just want to get started on that there lemon, ginger, and mint, and a date in the spirulina juice. I want to get started on that stuff, because I think I did mention that I'm still refining uh, how I eat, to get the food that really work for my body. One of the things I let you know is that I still struggle with high blood pressure. I manage that, keep it under control through pharmaceuticals. I've tried everything, try to do it natural, but nothing seemed to work except for the pharmaceuticals. So I'm okay with that. So hopefully I could find the right way the right food that could manage that also.
We'll
Yeah, you have.
get
Go
to-
ahead, Tami.
sorry. We will.
Yeah, so I was going to say you have the right healer with you.
Yeah.
Tami can help you with that.
Oh, one more issue. I hope this is the right place to talk about this, is that I have a swollen prostate that causes excessive urination. And I've tried all of those marketing stuff. None of them work. And but I know that that I can't that the right herbs from nature could help shrink my prostate. So I'm hoping to um, to find those, to be introduced to those herbs and things that could help reduce this prostate and get rid of the excessive urination.
Yeah, and eating in a way that's going to allow the body a real quick upgrade of detoxification. Because all disease has a detoxification and an inflammatory root. And it might show up in the prostate, it might show up in the bowels, it might show up in the lungs. So allowing the body to rest. So maybe even getting into the infused waters for a few days and just allow the body to detoxify. Gabriel Cousins says the quickest upgrade, and most really integrative physicians say the quickest upgrade for healing is stop eating. Just drink for a while. And you can infuse your water, you can just drink water, you can mix some green juices, and allow the body to rest. It is one of the quickest upgrades. And a lot of the toxicity tests after 5 to 7 days of bowel toxicity, because the bowels are a really good representation of how toxic the body is. It's called an indican test that the Tree of Life has done repeatedly. And after 5 to 7 days, even a person that's quite toxic and quite inflamed, the inflammation markers go way down after fasting for 5 to 7 days. And so it might be something. That's the first protocol.
I know that to be true because I went on was it a 12-day, or was it a 60-day water fast where I just drank a gallon of water a day. And I was symptom free of everything for 2 weeks.
I think you have your answer.
I said I'm cured, and it came back. I did another water fast for 3 days. So that definitely is fasting helps with the inflammation, help to reduce it, those markers as you said. But what I need, because when I start back to eating again, the symptoms come back. So I just know that it's about getting the right foods in my body, in the gut biome. So that's where the inflammation, the immune system starts at down there. And I think I might be able to cure my body of those disorders, diseases. And I think I like this here, starting out my day with the lemon, with those juices. I think that's key to that. So thank you again.
You're welcome. And if you have a really fine strainer
I have that.
and you don't put dates in and you keep it really low glycemic, so you can add your herbs in there, your mint, a little bit of lemon. You can keep the lemon in lower quantities, and a little bit of cucumber, because that's really low on the glycemic scale. We'll talk more about this. Hopefully, Gabriel Cousins will join us tomorrow. He's an expert on green juice fasting. If you do that, it seems like you already have your own answers. You can still have really neat infused water. If there's no sugar, the body stays in the fasting state. So, and then you can have the oranges as you're coming off the fast.
I have a question. If I make this juice water and you put it, because I do have jars, I do use jars. Could it be in the refrigerator for 2 days or 3 days, or you have to use it that same day?
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're making a green juice, like if you have a juicer, it does oxidize a little bit if it's not vacuum sealed. If you do infused water, it's not really like juicing, it's more like infused water. It'll be fine in the fridge. Lemon is a natural preservative. Lime is a natural preservative. So we'll get you started on your fast, and then we're going to add a few herbs involved to kill off the pathogenic bacteria.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I think you may answer my question, but could I have the jar? I'll make a set it in, like if I don't drink it all that setting, could I drink it the next day and refrigerate and would have its potency, still have its potency?
Yeah, it would still be fine for your infusion.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. And we'll talk more about green juice fasting tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you. Namaste, vegan.
Namaste,
Yeah.
vegan.
Thank you.